Are you able to hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Srinivas G from HinduSpeakers Veru here. Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts on this question here. So, to begin with, it's a bit trivial here. Trivial in a sense, the worldly laws keep changing from place to place, time to time. They are consistently changing. So there's nothing like a fixed worldly law. Rather, I'll call it as a governance law. So when it comes to religious law for Hinduism, the base of extracting laws, the baseline for religious laws in Hinduism is nature. I'll call it as they are based on universal laws, laws of universe, laws of nature. It is from here we have extracted religious laws like kindness towards animals, plants, fellow human beings. We call it as Vasudhaiva Kutumbam. We call it one family world. We call it. So that is where the world is one family. That is the basis of Hinduism, Hindu religious laws. And within this, and that once, so that is the beginning of it. Now, when it comes to worldly laws, and we have a book, ancient times, how the society was governed in ancient India. Yeah. So it's the combination of religious laws with worldly governance laws. We had a book called Manu Dharma or laws of Manav Dharma, we call it. Manu Shastra, Manu, laws of Manu. And this is the book that guided us. To be honest, it is called Manusmriti, to be more precisely call it. So what is Manusmriti that was written around, say, 2,500 years ago? It has some 2,600 verses. And of course, there's nothing like specific, like, is this perfect book? No. Because most of these religious laws and worldly laws, they are all written by humans at the end of the day. So they are all prone for flaws, prone for drawbacks, prone for maybe they were written at that point of time during those times. So what does Manu Dharma talk about it? Yeah, it defines what the grouping of people based on their talents, occupational needs. That is how the society was governed. So, hey, intellectuals, scholars, they are like policymakers. Rulers, they were called Kshatriyas, soldiers, and we had the business class called Vaishyas. Then we have this working community called workers, we call it as Shudras. So these are the kind of four broad categories to organize a society. That's how the Manusmriti or Manu Dharma was defined. That was the initial basis for Hindu Dharma here. So that's how, and since then we have been evolving. So when it comes to religious laws, yeah, they are restricted to temples, priests, and then from there onwards, it's applicable to the few individuals who are into religious activities, taking care of temples, and then applying to society. Those are the kind of things. Yes, it's an intermix. Like you take some good of religious laws, good of applicable to worldly laws. That's how it has been going on. So, and when it comes to religious laws, when it comes to how religious laws help, they set up an initial baseline for organizing a society. Like if I want to start a company, an organization, I need people for workers, I need for production, I need a managers, I need accountants, a set of grouping of people. That's how a organized society works. For the worldly laws, you set up certain set of rules. So, and when it comes to religious laws, you need initially, hey, we look at now. You go back in times like 5,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago, how the society has to be organized. You define an individual. Hey, this is a nature of a man based on Lord Rama's virtues. You need a set of intellects, Lord Krishna defining Bhagavad Gita. So these are the kind of religious laws versus organized laws. So my view is, yes, religious laws help in defining an individual behavior, mental makeup, whereas the worldly laws, it helps in organizing a society. I hope I got it.
Yes, let's get a round of applause for his answer. Thank you so much. Yes, so to just quickly recap, so can you say in Hindu scripture it encompasses both the, as you said, the governing laws and the spiritual laws?
Yeah, that's called Manusmriti, we call it. Yeah, and since then it has been evolving.
It always evolves, pertaining to what that era needs. Then.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. So, does that mean like there's always new scripture always being written? Because I believe that, You have thousands and thousands of years.
Thousands of books. That's what I mean. Yeah, there are like thousands of years, a long collection of books. Of course, unfortunately, most of them have been destroyed. Like we had all the ancient Hindu universities, which were started on 2,000 years ago and 3,000 years ago. They have been destroyed over the invasions from Europe and Arab world. So that's another ugly history. But again, we don't have all the knowledge. So within the limited knowledge, what I'm sharing here is Manusmriti is one of the legal books we had it in the ancient times. And it may not be a complete book. Again, it is prone for flaws, prone for half information, maybe not complete truth, maybe some parts, some truths, some missing information, I'll call it. It may not be a complete book, but we had a baseline to begin with, how the society has to be organized and how the religion spawning into a worldly laws. That's how it is.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Once again, thanks for the opportunity, Celeste. Yeah. Yeah, once again, could you prove that something is true or correct? Yes. Yeah, we have the historical evidence. So yes, some of these manuals like Manusmriti, Bhagavad Gita are correct. Yes. We have dates. Yes. When the events have happened. So I trust them. Next, it is possible to provide evidence. Yes, absolutely. It's all there. I mean, with the dates, who has written it, when, it's all in the history. And does your history have evidence or show that it's trustworthy? When it comes to trustworthiness, everyone, it's trustworthiness varies from individual to individual here. For instance, if you ask me today, when I was researching on Bhagavad Gita, it's the holy law book for Hindus. Post 1947, we have taken like some of the for legal purposes. Yeah, it's not a compulsion or a rule per se, but yeah, people who want to take oath, they take oath on Bhagavad Gita today. In some of the Hindu politicians, they do. So that is what the trustworthiness is all about. So why the Bhagavad Gita here? It's based on concept. It's not based on some figure or some god or a man based on 2,000 years of 1,500 years. It's based on concepts here. Concepts like karma, dharma, jnana. You gather knowledge. Yes, you're guided by your actions, like karmic concepts. Then dharma. Dharma is like you lower your ego, look the world in equal terms. When I say equal terms, respect for fellow human beings, fellow living beings, I call it. So dharma, karma, artha, these are all the various concepts. So how are these events going to be trustworthy here? Well, you qualify in a particular subject to be a professor of physics or professor of math. So that's how I trust myself. So if I trust Bhagavad Gita, should I have to trust it? Yeah, today I was researching on Bhagavad Gita. I found that it is very much compliant with UN declared human rights. Absolutely, that was a kind of I felt proud about it. Yes, and today United States, United Nations is a worldwide body. It formulates a list of human rights based on worldwide understandings and discussions, a number of discussions. They formulate a list of human rights, and Bhagavad Gita is absolutely compliant with it. So that makes more trustworthiness. It's adding trustworthiness is by qualifying with various organizations, various human beings. I mean, how it works in real life. That's how the trustworthiness builds in. So concept, we are based on concepts. It's based on like, if I say, hey, if I qualify for a particular exam and I need to have jnana and then I need to write an exam, I qualify for it. That's how my trustworthiness builds in. So nobody trusts, say, if I have to go to a hospital, I look for his particular degree. Hey, he's an MD or he's not. So that's how I trust a person, whether he's qualified to treat me, a qualified doctor. I cannot go to a person who is not qualified to be a doctor to get a treatment. So that is what the trust comes in for me. And so the way it is for me, my scripture is working or not. Do I trust in my scriptures called Bhagavad Gita? Absolutely yes. So for instance, it is universal. It is applicable to every human being on earth. Bhagavad Gita, and it's not just specific to a particular god or a human or a region or a sub-region. It is based on universality and is applicable to every human being, because they are concepts, like say laws of gravitation. They are all concepts. So we trust laws of gravity. So is the case here. We trust concepts like karma, dharma, jnana, artha. So that's how it is. So we'll just like you trust laws of Newton. Why do we do that? Because we see it in practical world. They work. That's how it is.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Srinivas. Just give a round of applause.